Hello and welcome to Flight Simulator 2020. This is Enigma and I'm showing you an add-on for Flight Simulator which is called OnAir Airline Manager. It gives us economy. Yes, there is an economy option here within the game. No, not within the game. As a third-party add-on by Sobro. Now there are other economy add-ons out there. One of them I think is called FS Economy, but I've seen it. It's fairly slow, or it's got some issues with sheer number of players that have been trying to play it, but it is free, and it is not as graphically intense as OnAir Airline Manager is, or as clean as the presentation here or the features that OnAir gives. And so I wanted to go ahead and highlight OnAir for you as far as the tips and strategies that I've been using within my 8-day trial to go ahead and start with practically nothing to having a fully functional regional airline. Now, I started out on the Cumulus server, which is the new player server, the Cumulus World. My company is NOAA. If you're in the game, feel free to give a shout. But here are my current stats so far. I've got 7.5 million cash, 28 employees, and I've got 8 aircraft. As we'll see here, I'll take a look at my operations map. And here are the planes I have right now. I got 2 turboprops, 2 Cessna Longitudes, 2 320s, and 2 747s. It's a fairly good operation I've got going on here. And as you can tell here from my map, I am actually all at one location here in Denver. It looks like Denver International Airport, Addon. And that is tip number 1, is when you are getting started, when you can change where your main player location is. If I show you my player here, my employees, my player is called Enigma. This is me, and I can change my company's headquarters just by relocating me. I can go to manage and I can click on relocate, and I can type in whatever airport I want to start relocating to. It will take 2 days to do so, so just be aware. That will mean 2 days that you won't be able to fly or do anything as a result of the OnAir plugin. Of course, you can still fly in your simulator, you just won't have anything counted towards your player until you are able to do your active flights within OnAir itself. Now, there are other videos out there. I'll explain how to actually set up OnAir as far as being able to do flights within your simulator. You're welcome to take a look at those. I might link those as well in the description here. But this, as I said, is just is a new player strategy and tips, assuming that you already know the basics of at least being able to get in and load your airplane and start flying it. But the first tip, though, is certainly to take a look at centralizing your operation out of just one hub. And when deciding which airport to do it in, it kind of depends on your goals. I mean, this is a sandbox type add-on. Microsoft Flight Simulator is just a simulator, but the OnAir add-on here is a sandbox, and like any sandbox, if you don't have any goals, you'll just wind up spreading yourself out thin and getting bored, and yeah, just like my voice, just droning on, and you'll just fall asleep. But if you are in the mind to have a goal and achieve it, you'll actually have a lot of fun with this, and that's what I've been able to do here. And that also dictates what kind of airport you're going to be looking to base out of. And so tip number 2 is to know that the minimum level airport that you want, if you want to have jets at all of any kind, you want at least a minimum of a level 4 airport. 4s and 5s, because 4s and 5s are universal. The 747 can land at the 4s as well as the 5s, of course, but it can't land at the 3s. Your Cessnas, though, can land at the 3s and 2s and even the 1s, but I recommend that if you're going to have any further aspirations beyond the Cessnas, that you at least look at getting a level 4 type airport, which are designated by these dots here. These are level 1s. Fort Collins here, we've got level 3. And if you zoom out, the green ones are level 4, and the blue ones are your internationals. And so I can, base myself out of KLS or somewhere else, that has that. But yeah, the further you zoom in, the more detailed your airport selections get. And you can see that you've got some, regionals, and you got some individual little landing strips, basically ranches and farms and things like that. So, and if you're doing bush work, it would be those different missionary type small town mountain communities or whatever, which can be quite fun to fly in. And that's, that's your goal, then that's your goal. The idea is, though, is making sure you're basing out of an area that you can service your planes and not get so spread out that you are in micromanagement uh, trouble. And that's one thing I hate about certain games is the more micromanagement there is, the less fun it is, especially when you don't have a lot of time to play. So yeah, so if you're doing jets, minimum level is to do the level 4 airport. If you're doing just only prop planes, propeller planes only, then you can get away with level 3. That's a little bit, that's actually perfect, actually, to be honest. I mean, I was going to say, you can get away with doing level 1, but I wouldn't do it. I would do at least a level 2 airport, mainly because if you go to any one of these level 1 airports, they're not going to have fuel. I mean, you'll just have a plane there, but really probably not any services. I mean, look, this only has 1,800 gallons available. I mean, it'll go through that quickly, and you'll wind up having nothing left after a while, even after a game refresh, which I don't know whenever that takes place. But you don't want to be left in a situation where you've got nothing that you can fly from. So that is why the recommendation is to at least stick with your level 2 airports if you're doing prop planes, and a level 4 if you're doing your jets, just so that you've got those options as you grow. General rule of thumb is, if you don't have any particular preference for an area, just go and start with wherever you live. Like, living here, I could have probably picked Nashville, or I could have just picked a level 4 airport nearby. Let's see, that would be Knoxville over here. If I wanted something less laggy, because if you go to the large international airports, they take quite a bit of while to load up, especially if you've got a lot of people at that airport. They've already got established FBOs, and there's all these objects that need to load. If you want to avoid that kind of lag within the OnAir application itself, we're not talking about lag within the game, Microsoft Flight Simulator or anything like that, but just actually within OnAir. Try to avoid the larger airports, and level 4s can be your friend. Especially if you make it into a hub situation where you've got all your staff and planes there, then you can just send them out to go and grab cargoes and passengers from local areas and then ship them out to their destinations. And just makes managing it so much easier when it's all in one location. You've got one FBO servicing everything that you need, and it's just a lot more fun that way. That's just how I experienced it. All right, so tip number 3 we've got is to look at, when you acquire airplanes, is you want to not buy them outright when you're getting started. You want to not get a loan for them outright either. You want to just rent your planes. As you can tell, most of my fleet is rented out here. Start out by renting your planes, and you'll be surprised that your profit returns are just far greater. Plane prices can be very, very expensive in comparison to their rent prices, and especially on the profit returns that you get for doing those jobs. It just doesn't make sense to grind your way to buy an airplane and then go from there. And it just makes a lot more sense, a lot faster way to do it is to just rent the plane that you really want. And to do that, you just go and search for the plane. For example, if I wanted to get a Cessna or something like that, a Longitude. And the reason why I prefer Longitudes, they just have more cargo, and I guess they're just better. But yeah, I can ship more that way. And I'm going to search for Longitude within range of Denver. And as you can tell that the prices here, they got 3 million. You're starting out on the easy mode, which is 470,000. That's the most you're going to get. You're not going to be able to go ahead and buy a Longitude outright. Just not going to happen. But you can go right into your details onto any local for sale or rent, and you can get it for about 55,000. And then just first day, you've got a Longitude, which is great because it's fast and can do all the the grunt work that you don't want to do while making your company profitable. One thing to be aware of, just kind of as a side note, kind of a freebie here, is when you rent an airplane, just make sure it's got fuel. If not, you're going to have to schlep it over. And that's not a whole lot of fun, because currently in the game, in order to do that, you actually have to go in and manually purchase the individual. See if I can get to my FBO here. You actually have to purchase the individual gallons of fuel, jet fuel, or propeller fuel. Did I say propeller fuel? Of the 100 LL gas. And it's only like 5 gallons at a time, and you have to click and hit OK, and then you have to manually do that for every single 5 gallons that you need to fill up your airplane. And it's a tedious pain. It's a suggestion I think a lot of people have put on the OnAir website to go ahead and get that fixed up, so that we're not just constantly clicking, and then having to manually load it all up onto a plane or something like that and just drop it off. Don't do that. Save yourself the time. When you're going to go buy your airplane, simply just take a look at what is available. If I go back here to Jet, search, sort by my sim, which is Microsoft Flight Simulator, longitude from Denver. What you can do is you can actually then hover over the airport name and find which one is at a size, at least for the longitude, size 3 is what I'm looking for. Here's one, size 4. I could buy this one, so I'm fairly guaranteed that I'll be able to buy gas and fly this home with a hired freelancer to do that for me, so I don't have to spend any time flying out or transporting an employee out to go grab it. But yeah, you're just going to go through your size. Here's size 2. I could probably buy one from here and then fill it up, assuming that particular airport actually has gas, which you can just click on the airport or search for. At least I don't think these are hot linked here, and then find out if there's any fuel. So just be aware when you're buying a plane that you got fuel. That's just kind of a quality of life tip for you. It's not really a strategy. Yeah, you want to go ahead and rent your planes to get started with, and then once you have your fleet fully rented up like this, which I have, I consider this a full fleet. Got 2 props. I got 2 props. I got 2 small jets. I got 2 medium range jets, and I got 2 international or continental jets here I can use. Once you have your whole fleet kind of rented out, then start using your money to invest in actually buying planes, fixing them up with your mechanics, and eventually have a completely owned fleet once you're finally done. So yeah, that's that. The next tip or strategy is to know that when you're getting started, you want to really exploit the AI to make your money by having it do the boring and long distance stuff. There are a lot of jobs, lots of jobs that you can choose in your logistics. For example, if I'm searching from my hub here, maximize what my planes can do. That's how I do my search. And a minimum, in this case, let's do size 3s because I want to make sure I got fuel on those legs. And here I can just go ahead and just sort by the pay, how much I want. This is a flight that I actually have to fly by myself. One of the legs has to be flown by me. Here's one here I favorited, 1.7 million. It's just a single hop. Single hop flights are definitely the best, and that's definitely another tip. But you just set your AI to go ahead and work these little jobs going out and back in. I do work orders for that. If you're not familiar with how to do work orders, it's pretty simple. Let me go back to my jobs here, grab that favorite. Let's see what we got. 1.7, 21,000. Is that what that is? Yeah. Let's see, shorter ones do 129 passengers. No, those are passengers. Okay, here we go. Let's take this one. So I've taken this one, and it's going to show up now in my logistics center. No, pending. It'll be my pending jobs here. And just making sure it's going to be from Denver to KFWA. To set up a work order, just go ahead and pick an available plane that'll be able to fly it, in which case it will have to be at least 21,000 cargo, which according to my notes of my planes, which I keep separately, that would be best flown by the A320. So I can go here to my list of planes, find my available A320 here in my hub. I'll just grab this one, click on the prepare flight, and I can load up my passengers and set it off confirm and fly now. Let's go ahead and load up all these passengers, and it's going to just do all this loading up here. I can set the co-pilot, set the destination, which is up here, KFWA, so destination KFWA, and make sure I have enough attendance for this, because passengers like having attendance. But in this case, I don't have passengers, I just have cargo. And so I just need to get a pilot in here. The idea is you fill out these options, select your pilot, and then you just launch flight when ready. Your flight will go on out. This is not a work order. This is just a simple prepare flight opportunity here. It's doing apron work right now. Don't even have to even do that. To set up a work order, let me go pick the other A320 here, just show you what it looks like. I can set up a work order which will set up multiple legs of an opportunity for me. I already have one here for my previous job. I'll just go and just add it, create a new one here. And so here at Denver, I've got these magazines. They're loaded on this plane here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and tell it to load onto this plane here. So from Denver, it's going to go to KFWA. Add a leg, and I always want my planes to come back to Denver, even if they're coming back empty, back to my hub, so that I have availability and don't have to worry about micromanagement. I just pick, my available people, and I just hit the play button, and it will take care of this whole order for me automatically. That's how you set up a work order. Very, very useful. All right, so tip number 5. Let's take a look at tip number 5. Tip number 5 is your skill tree. Your skill tree, knowing which skills to get first is important. The first one to get for sure is hiring agreement. This is the first one you want to spend your skills on, simply because this allows you to hire employees. Get those AI pilots doing the dirty work of making your money so you can have all the fun. Next is to get your passenger's license, so you can eventually, hopefully, get to these last-minute jobs, which are very, very lucrative. But it definitely also unlocks immediate opportunity for jobs with passengers. So very easy, no-brainer there. And then FBOs, so you can fix planes that eventually do buy, and then also later on sell fuel to players if you want to make some extra cash on the side from your FBO at the hubs that you've got established. But I've never had a need to go ahead and get the bank loans ever, because the renting prices are just so cheap. You've got the money for it, and your profit returns are just so amazingly awesome and predictable that you never have to ever touch really getting a loan, unless you just want to start off by getting a loan to get that fancy smancy 747, and you think you can build an airline from the top down that way. Good luck. So yeah, skill points. All right, so let's see, number 6 here, strategy tip: hire freelance at non-hubs. So when it comes to hiring, I'll take a look at my employees here. You can see right now, currently, I have a couple of freelances. Really, no, I don't have any freelance employees right now. All of them have completed their freelance opportunities. So all these are actual employees here. But the idea is that when you do have employees, you hire them, base them out of your hub, and anybody that you need outside of your hub, like for example, if I have an airplane that I bought and it's stuck somehow in another state, that's when I'll hire a freelance rather than an employee, and I'll just hire them to go fly it from outside into my hub. The idea is you want to keep your planes flying because flying is money. Employees are cheap, especially when if you just need to use a freelance to just go get the work done and get everything at home in your hub to make managing a lot easier, because you know we hate micromanagement, and the smart people are not micromanagers. Just saying, just saying. So yeah. Now let's see. Tip number 7 is you want to get in the habit of hiring black bar skilled workers. So if you're going to hire skilled workers for your hub, make sure you're going to get the ones that have the black skill bars. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. If I go to World, Hire Employees, and we'll just get this to load. All right, so these are black bars. These are, well, okay, maybe they're deep, dark navy blue or something like that, but they're darker bars because they have higher skill levels in these areas. Just real quick, pilots, I want to have stress resistance as highest as possible. And then, you know, for example, this is a good hire right here. You can also filter based off of what kind of planes you have. In this case, jets are in high demand, at least on the flight attendant side for sure. But once I go and hire them, I will go ahead and evaluate, or hire them. Once I find one I like, I'll evaluate them, and I'll set them at my home airport, sign the contract, make sure that they can fly what I have on in my fleet, and if not, get in the habit of immediately training your hires so that you can use them long term. And it just works out better for you that way. But yeah, go ahead and hire the ones that have black bars. Anybody that's blue bar, that's probably going to be a freelancer, unless you're really desperate and you need a permanent employee. I've never really had the point of hiring anything that's less than in dark black or dark, sorry, a dark navy or black bar. So flight attendants, I want to focus on passenger care as my priority, and mechanics, I think I zero in on precision, and so that's just how I've been hiring. It seems to work out for me, and as I said, employees are cheap. Flying is money, so the more you're able to fly it, the better. But if you're going to hire employees rather than freelancers, make sure they're black bars. Base them out of your hub and train them to what you need. All right, tip number 8. Jobs. Let's go ahead and go back to jobs here. Jobs. You want to prefer high-paying single hop jobs, like this example. I mean, it's 1.7 mil. I could probably find one a little closer to home for that price, but just based on experience. And also do note that this isn't the standard. This is actually a company bonus on top of $851,000. That's based on a 90% bonus, which is this bonus factor here. When you're doing the trial, I recommend setting the bonus up as high as you can, just so that you can quickly grow your airline and become exposed to most of what this add-on offers. So you make an informed decision on doing the subscription, which hopefully by a couple days in, you'll be like, yeah, I think I really like this, and it's worth paying it. So, but here, yeah, as a single hop, it's a high-paying one, and the reason why I like these single hop ones is just because it's less micromanagement. I don't have to set up as many legs. I don't have to think through so many details. So that's tip number 8. Just prefer high-paying jobs rather than the multi-leg nightmares. Anything that's like more than 3 is just too much, I think, just personally, unless you have a lot of time and you're able to go ahead and plan that out. And it's a very lucrative opportunity return. So these green stars are your best ones as far as making some good pile of money. I consider this a single hop type flight because obviously the destinations are so close, and also the cargo is within the limits of one of my planes in my fleet, such as I think this. Even the A320 could probably do this one just fine, without issue at all. In fact, I'll probably take that here after done recording this. So that's number 8. Prefer those high-paying single hop jobs. Tip number 9 is to search for jobs to also include local airports. A lot of people just put in their airport here. They don't, and they forget to check this box here to search surrounding airports. Medium trips here I like to do as a preference, just a query. And I can see here all the ones that start from my hub and all the ones that don't. Now, it just gives me more visibility to potential opportunities around in the area. In this particular case, this starts all the way down here, and what I can do is since I have a centralized hub, I can send my fleet out, pick all this stuff up, bring it home, and then finally deliver it on one giant plane down here. It just makes managing this so much easier. But yeah, search your jobs to include local airports to go ahead and increase the opportunities that are available to you. And then use your fleet to move your passengers or cargo to your hub for final delivery to the destination, as an example. Also, as a free tip, I don't know if I talked about this yet, is that these red ones have time constraints. They don't mean that they are due by. These actually mean wait. These jobs won't be available until a certain time has passed. To be honest, I just don't know why they're here unless you're just doing some long-term planning. But I consider it more micromanagement, which I don't like, so I avoid these altogether. And these icons here are for jobs that require you to fly, which can be a bummer sometimes because I get this nice $26 million one, or 1 million credit one that I saw. It requires a manual flight for practically, I think, like 9 hours, which I guess that's for the more dedicated, more than me at least. All right, so tip number 10, returning home. Yes, so when you've got, you're sent out your plane, I could do a search for jobs here at this airport and see if there's any that are coming back home this way. But, I think it's not that much of an issue after a certain point when you are on a good profitability track. Just send them home empty. I mean, that's fine. Just set the order. Just get in the habit of setting your work orders to return your planes to your hub. And that way, it's kind of a set and forget thing. And you've always got a willing and available list of planes and people at your hub. Plus, micromanagement makes making money a lot more fun, and I think it turns around your returns a lot faster, and you're able to make more money faster and enjoy that. So that's my 10 tips here for new player strategy and tips. The last one is kind of a freebie. The 11th one is once you have a fully owned fleet of planes, or I'm currently renting here, but once I have this fully owned, my goal then is to basically replicate this franchise style. Go franchising. It's a great book, by the way, The E-Myth. Check it out. It's an amazing book on how businesses should be run. But the idea is replicate what you have here at this hub somewhere else. In this case, as I said, probably look at expanding to Dallas, creating a whole new hub with the exact same number type of fleet down there, and then also Chicago or whatever. Or I might even just skip across the ocean and set up in I guess maybe here in London or something like that, or Rome or whatever, and just so I can complete the missions down over here, because I do have missions. I'm on level 5 of missions here, and this is requiring me to do all the ones in Africa. So I could just set up another hub over here and try to replicate my success here in the United States, and that way I then become an international airline, maybe having a dedicated 747 that will transfer between the two hubs. But yeah, there you have it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ping me in game. I am Noah, Nova Aviation, and the Cumulus World. Otherwise, you'll see me on the Discord as Enigma. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to help answer either in the comments below, or in Discord, or within the OnAir application itself. So we'll see you guys around. Have fun.